Welcome to Hot Mom Habits, the ultimate podcast for moms who want to prioritize their health and wellness while doing all the things. I'm your host, Natalie Schwartz, certified health coach, postpartum fitness instructor, and mom of 3. I'm here to help you establish healthy habits and maintain a balanced lifestyle, so let's get into it. Welcome to today's episode. It is all about alcohol. So I am getting into, we quit drinking about 4 months ago, and I'm going to share my experience with that. I've been feeling this sort of like inner calling, this nudge to quit drinking for a while now, and just to sort of see what that experience is like. I'm being completely honest and vulnerable and raw in this episode. So I hope you enjoy. If you have been sober curious, this is the episode for you, and I'll see you in the episode. Hello and welcome back to Hot Mom Habits. I want to get into alcohol today. This is a podcast that I've been wanting to record for a while, but I wanted to let some time pass. My husband and I stopped drinking. It's been 4 months, and I've done this before one time where I went 6 months, and this is outside of being pregnant, obviously. Like when you're pregnant, you're not drinking, whatever, but like not pregnant. And I have just been feeling called to do this. Call it your intuition, call it what you want, but I want to just share my experience with you, what that's like with kids, what that's like with your spouse, like how it's affected our marriage, outings with the kids, like my energy, my focus, my mood. So I wanted to just sort of dive into that with you, because I think that alcohol, right, is so acceptable in our society. There's like this mommy wine culture that I was very much a part of, and I very much applauded that and sort of fell into that stereotypical, like I cringe when I think back to like my presence on social media when I had my first kid 7 years ago. And I was always like, oh, glass of Chardonnay, it's 4:00, like da, da, da. And this is no shame to anybody who's like, girl, I like my wine. I'm not giving it up. Good for you. This is not to persuade anybody. This has just been my experience. And I want to share it because I think so many people are sober curious right now. And like, we're at that age, I don't know about you, I'm 36, where it's like you're starting to see on your face, your skin, like the effects of maybe partaking in some things that are basically poison. So I guess let's start with childhood. I always knew what alcohol was at a really young age. My parents divorced when I was 3, and then my mom's boyfriends following that were all alcoholics. And so I always knew what alcohol was. I knew alcohol was a problem. I knew that people would fight over it. Like it was something that unfortunately I was exposed to it at a young age and knew, sort of what it was. And then I sort of, as we do, follow in our parents' footsteps in all of my relationships, like as an adolescent and in my 20s, were all, for the most part, with people who had substance abuse problems or who abused alcohol heavily. And it was always a point of contention. And so I also drank, right? Like I started drinking alcohol in high school, at parties, like those types of things. And then in my early 20s, God bless you if you knew me then, you're probably dying now because I'm like so crazy about what I put in my body. But let me just tell you, in my 20s, I was a wild child. Like there was nothing that I wouldn't try, nothing that I wouldn't touch. Like I was closing the bars down. We were staying up till 6 a.m. It was a good time. So I have had my fair share of drinks, but I had just been feeling in the past few years like this inner calling to stop drinking alcohol. Like, what if you just gave it up? Like, what would that feel like? And if I'm being completely honest, and I want to just be as raw and real and vulnerable in this episode as possible, I selfishly was like, I don't want to not have fun by giving up alcohol. Like, I don't want to like give up drinking wine like during the holidays or when it's cold outside, or what about my birthday? Or like, what if Stefan and I go on a date night? Like that sounds boring if there's no alcohol involved. And I think I'm sharing that because I think a lot of us can, you know, if we're really real with ourselves, can kind of relate to that, right? Like, oh, that sounds not as fun. And I actually really love the way wine tastes. I enjoy it. But I just felt like it had gotten to a place where my husband and I, after I just had our third baby, I was like, yes, like give me the wine, like, and then it was winter, and winter here is cold. You're like inside, it's cozy. It's like, let's just, you know, have drinks, or we'll put the kids down, we'll have a drink, and then one drink turns into two, then it turns into three. And I just felt like it was getting to a place where what the hell are we even doing? Like, we're just wasting money on buying alcohol, and we're just and then I'm drinking wine only to have a headache afterwards. And I felt like it was my body's immediate response being like, this is a no, girl. This is a no. But I didn't listen because I'm like, oh, no, I want to have wine. Like, this is my time. I was pregnant for 9 months. And so in the summer, Stefan and I were just like, I was just done. I don't know what, I just finally came to a point where I'm like, I just feel like I need to quit because emotionally and energetically, I just was feeling out of whack. I was feeling in a funk. And I honestly feel like it was not affecting our marriage in like a crazy way, but like you're just more irritable, or you're just more easily annoyed with your spouse. I feel like when alcohol is like this consistent thing in your relationship. And two, I was really fucking annoyed, if I'm being honest, with like every time we'd go out to do something with the kids, and I'm just being brutally honest, we would like revolve it around like, okay, we can get drinks. Like, no, what? But like, we are 36 years old. Like, those days are over. Like, why are we revolving, going out to do things with the kids and involving alcohol? Like, I just felt like that felt icky to me at a certain point. And so we decided to cut it. Okay. I think the trickiest thing is if you can make it in your first couple social situations without drinking, then you're good. Like, at first it was like, oh fuck, we're going to your parents' house. Like, it's like such a habit of like having wine, you know? And so once you make it through that, and I'm not going to lie, it was helpful to have a partner. It's helpful that Stefan is doing it too. And I will tell you this, just like as a quick side tangent note, my husband, God love him, but he gained weight just drinking alcohol. And he's quit drinking for 4 months. He's lost 30 pounds. It's so unfair because he sees me busting my ass, working out all the time, doing all these things. And guys just lose weight so much faster. They like don't have to do anything but quit drinking. But the point of that is it goes to show you how inflammatory alcohol is, how inflammatory it is in the body. And when the body is inflamed, it holds onto fat, it holds onto that excess weight. You're puffy, you're swollen. It's not a cute look. Like, nobody wants to like be bloated. So if you want to get your hot self back, literally quit drinking alcohol for a few months. But anyways, that's just like a side bonus little freebie I threw at you. I was feeling really phony being so into health and wellness and drinking every week. Like, to me, internally, I just felt this struggle because I'm like, I'm showing up, doing all these healthy things, promoting health and wellness, but yet I am drinking alcohol, which is a neurotoxin for the brain. It harms the body. Like, you're literally putting poison into your body, and it ages you. It deteriorates at your memory, like it deteriorates at your brain. And my whole purpose of being so into health and wellness isn't so I can have an Instagram page. My purpose in being so into health and wellness is because I want to have longevity in my life for my children. I want to show them by doing, not by saying I will or imagining it or putting it on a vision board. I want them to know mommy has got her shit together because she shows me she has her shit together. Okay. And so for me, the drinking just was like, what this, like, it just wasn't feeling authentic for me. Again, this is just my experience with it. So flash forward, the positive effects, I feel like not drinking alcohol is you feel so much clearer. And my hairdresser was asking me, she's like, I always hear people say that, like, what do you mean by that? And it's like, honestly, unless you experience it for yourself, it's hard to describe, because when you are consistently drinking alcohol, you are in a consistent foggy state. It doesn't mean you have to drink every day. Maybe you just drink on the weekends, but you have like 3, 4, 5 drinks on the weekends. Or maybe you do drink every other day or one glass of wine a night. Doesn't matter. There's still this fogginess that comes. And I think it's at a spiritual, a higher vibrational level. And when you quit drinking alcohol, you experience a sense of clarity that is hard, like I said, to describe, but it is clear. You are focused. You feel like the anxiety is gone. You feel like your emotions are in check. You feel empowered. You feel like you're the HBIC, like you are in charge. It makes you just feel centered in a way that is not physically, mentally, or spiritually possible when alcohol is this constant in your life. And going out with the kids and not drinking makes you realize how many people are drinking with their kids. And for Stefan and I, it was like, and please, again, this is not to cast shade or to change anybody's mind. This is just our experience. And I hope to be speaking to somebody who's curious about this. Our experience is like, our little town here in the good old Midwest has these like little Sunday fun day events, like once a month or twice a month or something. And obviously there's beer and wine, but there's little games for kids. And it's like a family event. And I'm watching these parents drink and drink, and their kids are running all over the place, and they aren't aware of what's happening. And I know that that's not to say that that's every parent, but it just feels like when alcohol is involved, we aren't as present and in tune with what's going on. And I just didn't want our experience to be like, hey, like, oh, let's finish our drinks really quick. Like, I'll play with the kids. You go grab another drink, come back, and then we'll like fake play with the kids some more. It's like, it feels, at least for me, it feels so much better to just be present and all in with the kids. If we're choosing to take our small children on an outing, to not have alcohol be part of that. And it feels empowering and it feels really good. And also in terms of energy and focus, like I feel like you have way more energy in the morning. You're more focused on your goals, the things you want to do. It's also a money saver. I mean, when you go out for a date, this is what kills me though about health and wellness and people who are like, ooh, I don't want to invest $30 a month, or I don't want to invest $20 a month into like doing a gym membership, or like, I can't get a nutrition coach or whatever it is, but like they'll go to the bar and spend $80, or they'll go out to brunch with their girlfriends and have like 5 mimosas, or go out for a date night and spend like $150 because alcohol is expensive, right? So it's a money saver when you're not doing it. But also, I think from a health and wellness perspective, and I know so many of you can agree with this, you just don't make the best choices when you're drinking. Like, it doesn't give you the energy the next day to get up, get after your workout, get up early, show up for the kids, bright and smiling. I think one of the biggest blessings too about not drinking is it really forced me to take a look at why I was drinking. And I think this is so powerful, and there's a lot to unpack here, because I personally was drinking because I'm like, oh, like it's been a long day. Like I want to relax, or we're going to go out. I'm going to get like a little buzzed or like a little tipsy. We're going for date night. It'll be funny. It'll be fun. Or then it was like, well, why are you drinking? I was asking myself this, like, Natalie, why are you drinking then if you guys are taking the kids to um, the street fair? Why are you drinking if you're doing X? And it's in those moments where you can get quiet and get honest with yourself. And it's like we drink alcohol to alter our state of consciousness. So we are aiming at feeling different than we currently feel. And this goes for taking drugs or taking anything that makes you feel differently than how you just normally do. And I think that's where it can get tricky, is because I wanted to feel so much joy and be in love with my life and my mental health and my mental state that I enjoyed just being Natalie, that didn't need to drink to alter my state of reality for then me to enjoy myself in a situation, if that makes sense, right? Like I want to be able to go to my in-laws' house for dinner and not have to have wine, because I can just be a normal functioning person who can go have dinner, enjoy, have good conversation, play with the kids, get out of there, come home, and like spend the rest of the evening with my husband and not be tired because I've been drinking wine and then just wanting to go to bed and then waking up unmotivated. I don't want to work out, but like before I go to bed, because I've had 2 glasses of wine, I'm like, oh, like let's snack. Like you just don't make the best choices when you've been drinking from a health and wellness perspective. Like, have you ever drunk texted someone? Right? Like, think about in your early dating days. Like, I literally cringe at thinking about all of the text messages that have gone out to individuals after a night of drinking. And in the morning, you're thinking, why? Why did I send those messages? Like you don't show up as the best version of yourself when you are tying one on. Like you don't make the best choices with food. You don't have the energy to get up and get a workout in. You aren't showing up for your kids with your full self. And so for me, it was just this culmination of all of those things that was really like, okay, let's do this. And I'm not saying that I'm never going to drink again. And I'm not saying that this is the right way and you should do this. This has just been my experience. And I really wanted to get into it and share it because I think that a lot of us are curious. What does that look like? And I would also invite you into asking yourself, why are you drinking? Like in certain situations, why is it that you feel like you want to have alcohol? And for me, the reasons just outweighed why I was wanting to drink. I think it's an interesting thing to think about. And so I invite you to do that. And again, this is just my experience with it. But I think that as we get older and we have kids, it's like not worth it to be stressing the body so much by constantly putting alcohol into it. And I will say another thing from the health and wellness standpoint. I mean, this is hot mom habits, and I think it's a pretty hot habit to like check yourself with your drinking. Like maybe you're drinking too much. Maybe you want to take a break. Maybe this is going to encourage you to take a break and like just get curious with it, or maybe you just drink on the weekend or whatever it is. But I think that when we are wanting to lose weight, wanting to kick a sugar addiction, wanting to build muscle, like wanting to get into an exercise routine, and we are drinking like pretty regularly, that one thing, I guarantee you, come back and find me when you do this. I guarantee you, by removing alcohol from the situation, those things, time will collapse for you and you will lose weight faster. You will have more energy and focus to stick to a routine. The bloated, the puffiness, all of the things will diminish because alcohol truly is such an inflammatory thing that is so socially acceptable to do all the time, consistently, with kids, without kids, any time of day, any time of night. So that's just my take on it. That's where I'm at. We shall see. I keep telling Stefan, when Hudson is 2 and we go to Europe alone, like, I will have wine, like, enjoy myself. But for right now, it's been feeling pretty good, and we'll see how it goes. I love you guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you next time.